What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 176 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. So this episode started off with Boruto hanging out with his friends. Pretty much they was playing a card game, that card game that they usually play. They seen Dinky walk past. He was too preoccupied to even talk to him. He was thinking, and they noted that he must have been thinking about something pretty important or something complicated. And then we had Naruto having a discussion in the Hokage's office with Kakashi, Tsunade, Sai, Shikamaru, Konohamaru, and Mujino. They were all talking about what happened in the Land of Valley with the Victor and Deepa situation, and they came to some conclusions, and they talked about a lot of stuff. So some of the conclusions that came to was that Victor and Deepa were a part of Korra, and that Korra also has outer members, because they found that out by Sai. He, or not Sai, Konohamaru. He brought up the fact that the doctor from the Hidden Stone Village was a part of the outers, and or he said that they were outers. He said that they were the doctor from the Hidden Stone Village who helped out Ku. He was talking about how he was one of the outers, and Konohamaru told that to him, and then they came to the conclusion that the outers must be people who are affiliated with Korra, and that they could be in any village, any of the villages, and or basically people who agree with Korra's ideology and stuff like that. And Sai, he was thinking that the guy from the first episode of this arc, the one that him and Sasuke came in contact with when they went to the Hidden Rain Village, he was thinking that that guy could possibly be an outer. And Sai, he also not researched, but he did some investigating. Sai and the Anbu, they did some investigation in Victor's laboratory, and they actually found Victor's secret room. Apparently he had a secret room in his company. The headquarters of his company had a secret room, which apparently I guess nobody accessed, but besides Victor and probably Victor, Deepa, and the outers or whatever. But the room had a scroll. They found the scroll in the room that had like the karma seals patterns, which they then concluded was the same stuff that Shijoji was talking about, and that it was connected to Korra. So they came to the conclusion that Victor and Deepa were most likely Korra members. And Tsunade asked the question, well, were they the leaders of Korra? And Naruto said that's probably unlikely. That's most likely not the case, basically. Now, a thing that did happen that was one of the things I didn't like about this episode. It's two things that I didn't like about this episode. So one of the things happened during this portion of the episode where that we're talking in the Hokage's office, and Naruto said that he sent people, basically sent messengers to the 5 great ninja nations to tell them what had happened, and that made no sense to me. Now I could be missing something because it's been a while since I watched the Mitsuki arc in the anime, but I remember in the Mitsuki arc, Shikadai was talking to his dad on the phone. I actually remember that. I remember that a lot. So Shikadai was talking to his dad on the phone during the Mitsuki arc, and he was in the Hidden Stone Village, and his dad was in the Hidden Leaf Village, obviously. And yeah, I remember him dropping the phone, and his dad, Shikamaru, was basically yelling his name after Shikadai dropped the phone because he had to go. But yeah, he was in the Hidden Stone Village, and he was talking to his dad on the phone. So with that being said, I don't get why Naruto couldn't have just called the 5 great ninja nations. It's not a big problem. It's more so a nitpick. But yeah, I just found that to be a little bit weird. He could have just called the villages, or he could have did something else, which was like he could have did. I'm pretty sure in the last Naruto the movie, Kakashi had like a 5 Kage summit, but he had like a virtual 5 Kage summit where they were all on screens. So yeah, I don't get why Naruto couldn't do something like that. Once again, it's just a small nitpick. It's not something that ruined the episode or anything. It was just a little minor thing that I thought was pretty weird. Now, moving on, they basically, a lot of this, so I already went over most of the important stuff that they were talking about, and They basically came to the conclusion that they need to have a blockade at the Hidden Leaf Village. That's what basically that Shikamaru and them were suggesting, because since they came to the conclusion that the outers of Korra, or basically enemies in general could be infiltrating the village, because basically Hidden Leaf Village is super lenient now, I guess, when it comes to allowing people in the village. And now that they found out that Korra might have some people who are, well, basically they found out that the Korra organization is pretty big. After they found out about that doctor being an outer and him being connected to the whole thing that happened in the Hidden Stone Village with Ku, they came to the conclusion that the Korra organization is a pretty big organization, and basically that they should take some precautions to make sure that they don't infiltrate the Hidden Leaf Village. And Naruto said he had to think about that decision. So what he did was he went around the village. He went to the gates of the village, because they were basically, the decision was they were thinking about if they were going to have a blockade in the Hidden Leaf Village at the front gates. And Naruto went to the gates of the village. And this is where the second thing, I said those two things that I didn't like in this episode. This is where that second thing happened. So basically Naruto was talking to the guards of the gate and stuff, and they were talking about basically how loose, or basically how easy the restrictions are and stuff like that. And the thing that I didn't like was Naruto was acting like he was brand new to what was going on at the gates. Like, he was asking them questions like, so you guys, that's where you guys check people out at, over there? I'm like, bro, Naruto, come on now. You're the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. This is very, very obvious stuff. Of course, the front desk that's by the gates of the village, of course, that's where they checking people out at. I mean, that's where people are coming in at, and etc. So, I mean, point being, Naruto should know this stuff. Like, I don't get why he needs to ask questions. Like I said, just like the first problem I brought up, not a big deal. It's not something that ruins the episode or anything. It's just like one of those things that's like, Naruto, why are you asking stupid questions? You should already know about this stuff. But anyways, then he went to talk to Kiba, and this is something that I actually didn't know, and I'm pretty sure this wasn't revealed, so I'm pretty sure this is new information to all of us. But apparently Kiba, not unless this was revealed in a novel or something that I didn't read, but as far as the anime is concerned, I don't remember this ever really being revealed. But apparently at the train station for the Hidden Leaf Village, Kiba and the police force, they're all at the train station watching things and stuff like that. They're all at the train station, and they have dogs. At first I thought it was the Inuzuka clan, but I guess it's the police officers and the Inuzuka clan. And basically it seems like Kiba is the main guy in charge there, and they're just basically, they use their dogs to, I guess, investigate and make sure people are safe to enter the village, I'm guessing. So yeah, that was a cool thing to see. And then what happened was the episode switched to basically Boruto and his friends, basically all of the Konoha 12, the new Konoha 12. So all of the Borutos, the teammates, Team Inashuka Cho, Team 7, Metal Lee and Awabe's team, Denki, and Wasabi, and basically all of Boruto's friends that were helping Denki with the project, a experiment, and it was basically a hot air balloon experiment where they sent Metal Lee and Awabe up in the air, up in the sky on the hot air balloon, and Denki was trying to see if he can communicate with someone from, basically Denki has a friend apparently who lives like by the border of the land of fire, and he wanted to see if he could communicate with them via hot air balloon. Like, basically, I don't know if it's like something with the signal on a hot air balloon, but it was a experiment that they were conducting. So apparently, Metal Lee and Awabe went in the air on a hot air balloon, and once they got in range, they were able to get a signal from Denki's friend. So yeah, that was the experiment, and that experiment led Naruto to thinking, yeah, connections, that's what chakra was originally created for. That's what he said at the end of the episode. He made his decision based off of seeing Boruto and his friends successfully conduct that experiment, which basically the experiment was showing the connection of people. And that's what the whole thing, that's what chakra was originally created for, which, that's true. That's what the Sage of Six Paths spread chakra around for and stuff like that, and Ninshu and all that. It was created or originally intended to connect people. And Naruto thinks that severing off the connection to people is not the right move. It's a bad thing, apparently. So that's what Naruto thought, and he decided not to blockade the Hidden Leaf Village. And Shikamaru said, well, Naruto said he wants Sai to basically reevaluate the situation, basically reevaluate the entrances to the village and stuff, and the situations and stuff that's going on with that, which I don't think was really necessary because Naruto himself literally just did that this episode, but it is what it is. And Shikamaru, he said something, I believe he said something like, it's going to be an issue if somebody get in the village. So Shikamaru didn't seem like he was too keen on Naruto's plan, but they said they're gonna be communicating with the other villages to find Korra's hideout. Now, at the end of the episode, this is where the stuff that actually relates to the main plot this is where that stuff comes in. So for anybody who calling this episode filler, or it seems like filler, it's not filler. You gotta watch this episode because it has some more stuff to do with Korra. And by the way, the entire Boruto anime is canon anyways, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys know that. But anyways, so at the end of the episode, towards the end of the episode, we had Victor talking to Jigen, the leader of Korra. And Jigen's name, I believe this is the first time Jigen's name was actually said in the anime, so that's cool. So it was a one-on-one conversation between Victor and Jigen, the leader of Korra, and Victor said pretty much everything that happened revolving around the divine tree and stuff, that was all Deepa's plan. He blamed everything on Deepa. Jigen wasn't buying it. He was like, it's just hard to believe that Deepa planned all of this and that Victor knew nothing about this, despite the fact that it was happening at his company. So he just seemed a little bit suspicious, and he didn't really seem to trust what Victor was saying. But Victor didn't get no punishment or anything, but it just seemed like Jigen was like, yeah, that seems a little bit weird what you're saying here. And also it was basically revealed that Deepa was dead, because Victor said he has his body and he has the evidence to prove that it was all Deepa's fault, and he has his body as well, his corpse or whatever. So yeah, Deepa is dead. I literally said that last week's episode, that Deepa would be dead and that Victor would survive because Victor's in the manga and Deepa isn't. So yeah, Deepa's dead. That was confirmed. And also Jigen said that he basically told Victor, like, it was he basically said that only a foolish person would try to revive the divine tree, basically something along those lines, because basically what I got out of it is that he's basically saying that, yeah, you got to be a fool to think that you could actually revive the divine tree, because as we all know, that wasn't a real divine tree. And Victor did come off looking foolish because he didn't actually. It was actually no fruit in that tree that he tried to revive, because it wasn't a real divine tree. And he then gave Victor a warning. He said, "If you want your wish to be..." Actually, let me get the exact words, because I got this pulled up on my phone. I don't want to misquote him or anything. Yeah, so let me get that. I don't know why Crunchyroll acting slow, but basically he said something like, you best not, if you want your wish to be fulfilled, you best not go off on these, try to basically do what he was doing, that divine tree experiment. That's what I got out of it anyways. But yeah, so overall, I think this episode was a good episode of Boruto. Yet again, we haven't had no bad episodes recently. So yeah, it's another good episode of Boruto. Not as great, not fantastic like last week's episode was, but another good episode of Boruto nonetheless. And also Victor, he was actually that whole thing with Jigen, I'm pretty sure that's a Genjutsu world that he was in. But when Victor came out of that, Victor looked like he was fine when he was in that, but when he came out of that, he was like, it looked like he was in bad condition, in bad shape. But oh yeah, a key thing that I almost forgot. Victor said that since his first plan didn't work, he's gonna have to take Jigen's vessel. So in the manga, it was hinted at that Victor was basically an untrustworthy member of Korra. In the anime, they're actually adding more detail to that, and they're showing us why he was so untrustworthy. Not only did he conduct this divine tree experiment, but also he's secretly plotting to get the vessel from, to basically steal Jigen's vessel. So you guys will find out about the anime only. You'll find out about that soon. But anyways, with that being said, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm gonna give you guys my rating for the episode. I think it was in terms of story, I think it was a pretty good episode. Like I'll say probably a 9 out of 10 in terms of story. It was pretty effective at doing what it needed to do, advancing the plot, giving more detail and lore to the core organization, and building them up more. And also, I liked how the whole thing with Naruto's, well, basically, I mean Boruto and his friends' experiment. I like how that connected to what happened, or I like how that connected to Naruto's decision at the end of the episode. And it was also really cool to see Naruto in the Hokage role. This is something that a lot of people watch Boruto for. A lot of people like seeing Naruto as Hokage because that was his dream for a long time throughout the entire series of Naruto. And we got to see him act like a Hokage in this episode, having to make a hard decision. So that was all pretty good stuff with that overall, as well as the whole thing with the Korra and further fleshing out Victor's character and why he's so untrusted in the organization. Now, with that being said, that's pretty much all I got to say for it. 9 out of 10 in terms of story, animation, art. 9 out of 10 for both of those as well. So overall, I'm just going to say it's 9 out of 10 episode. Another good episode of Boruto. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one.